baby, we are finally back for another video. Today we are going to be talking about breastfeeding. So I know I can't sing, y'all, but excuse me. So today we're going to be talking about breastfeeding, and before I start, I do want to put a disclaimer out there. I am not a professional. Everything that I talk about in this video is based on my experiences only, what I've been taught, trial and error, and the things that I've learned while I've been breastfeeding my son. So there are some people out there that may agree with me, and there's some people out there who may not agree with me. But I do want to let you all know that I am not a professional. Okay, so first I want to start off with the very essential is latching your baby on. Most people believe that you should latch your baby on right after he or she is born. The statistics say that your baby is better to latch on if they are latched on within an hour of being born. So if you haven't had your baby yet, I would put it into your time that after you have the baby. I know it's pretty hectic. The baby's getting weighed and cleaned and umbilical cut and doing all this and that, and sometimes there's problems. However, as soon as your baby is free and able to lay on you and do skin to skin, they will naturally find their way to your breast. It's called rooting. They will root their way to your breast. So don't interrupt. Just let your baby try to, pick up your scent and find their way to your breast. Yeah, because that's what you did, didn't you? Let them find their way to your breast, and they will latch yourself on. They may need a little help. However, this is what I'm telling you now. So in order to latch them on, what you do, you want their chin and their bottom lip to touch your breast first. You want to take your nipple and rub it across their bottom lip or under their nose, so that they have your scent and they know that you're trying to help them, guide them. So what you'll do is you'll do that, and then make sure that their tongue is down, and you always want to bring their head up like that, because here's your nipple. You keep throwing this toy. Here's your nipple, and then you rub it, and they'll open their mouth. You want to get it where their mouth is open. You want to go, if you get what I'm saying. Like, it's kind of hard to explain without like a dummy doll or a video. I could probably attach a clip into this video showing you all the proper way to latch a baby onto your nipple. So that's what I'll show next, is that video. Okay, so if you all have seen in the video, you might not have seen the areola. However, your baby's lips should have like a pucker up type of look. It should look like this with your nipple on the inside. So your baby's lips should not be curled under like this with your nipple inside. That's an improper latch, and there's a lot of consequences to an improper latch, which we'll touch base on a little bit later in the video. You want to always make sure that your baby is latched on properly. And I just want to say that breastfeeding should not hurt. If your latch is hurting, that means you probably aren't latched on correctly, or there's something that your baby's doing incorrectly. So just remember that little tip. It should never hurt. So my story is about, when I first latched my baby on, is pretty much he had a very, very, very hard time latching on because he was tongue-tied, meaning the skin between his tongue and the bottom of his mouth, there was too much of it and had to be clipped. So they ended up having to clip it to detach half of his tongue away from the bottom of his mouth, because he couldn't properly lift his tongue and get it over his gums. So every time that he was latching onto me, he was gumming my nipple. So if there's problems like that, and it hurted, so we knew something was wrong. So I had to use a nipple shield, and I'm going to show you all what a nipple shield looks like. This is what a nipple shield looks like. It looks like this. It's literally a shield that goes on top of your nipple. Your nipple goes into this part. Yeah, it does. It goes into this part, and the baby will suck on this part. It's pretty much, it just protects your nipple from all that pain. It doesn't take the pain all completely away. However, it does help. And this is also for women with inverted nipples, to where they're not protruding. So you would turn it inside out, kind of, to where it suctions onto your nipple, and your baby will go to work on it. Some babies like it. I know my baby, he loved the nipple shield more than he loved my nipple at first, because of course he could latch on better to the shield than my nipple because of him being tongue tied. Because he had to wait, I believe it was a month and a half before he could have surgery. So that's where we went with that. Okay, so next we're going to talk about whether or not you know that your baby is getting the proper amount of milk or not. I hear a lot of mommies or new mommies, pregnant women, women who have never breastfed before say a lot of, oh, how do I know my baby is getting enough milk? How do I even know if my baby's getting any milk? And there's a lot of ways for you to know. A lot of it's in your baby. So when your baby breastfeeds, he or she will have a pattern to where you know whether or not he's getting milk or not. My baby, every baby's different. My baby does a suckle, 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 swallow, suckle, 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 swallow. So when you latch your baby on, you want to listen for those cues. You can hear when your baby gulps, that's them swallowing the milk. When they're quickly suckling, quick, then you know that they're still trying to stimulate your nipple to get the milk to come down, which is called a letdown. A letdown is when your milk comes in a constant flow. So you'll hear them suckle, 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 suckle for so long, and then you hear them go suck, 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 which means that the milk has finally let down and they're swallowing milk each time. And then my baby will take a break and he'll sit there for a second and breathe, and he'll go right back to drinking the letdown. So I personally can feel my letdown about to come. What are you doing? I can feel my letdown about to come. It's always like a tingling sensation inside of my breast, and then not long after the tingling, I can feel my milk flowing. Why are you doing that? Also, just a little reminder that when you take your baby to the doctor, if they're gaining weight, then you know your baby's getting milk as well. Alright everybody, so I am back and I am alone. The baby got hungry, I had to breastfeed him, and he went to sleep, so I laid him down. So next thing we was going to talk about was how it feels when your milk first comes in as a new breastfeeding mommy. Whether or not you're breastfeeding or not, your milk is going to come in once you're out of the hospital and you know your colostrum is done. So they say your milk comes in about 3 to 4 days after you give birth to your baby, and when it comes in you get engorged, or at least I did. Personally, I got engorged. I went to sleep one night and woke up the next morning with rock on my boobs. Like, they were completely full, they were hard, and they hurt really bad. I didn't know how to get the milk out. I was told to take a hot shower, let the water run on your breast, and massage your breast to get the milk flowing, because hot water causes for your milk to release, versus cold keeps your milk in there. So I took a hot shower. That got some of the milk out. I used my pump. So I pumped some of my milk out, and also breastfed. Doing all 3 of those consecutively got rid of my engorgement, and it was all good in the hood. But it took me maybe about a day and a half to get all of that milk out. Maybe not that long. But what I do remember is the pain. The pain was something terrible. It was real. However, next time around, I will know when my milk is starting to come. That way I can start pumping or start feeding before I get engorged. So that was just, you know, a trial and error type of thing with me being a new mommy and me not knowing what it felt like to get my milk in and all that good stuff. So that we'll talk about engorgement later on in the video. But excuse me. And I also want to comment and say, if you don't choose to completely breastfeed your baby, at least give your baby the colostrum. The colostrum is the first milk that you have when you're in the hospital before your milk completely comes in. It's like a thickish yellowish milk, and it's not really a milk, but it's considered colostrum. So it's the healthiest for your baby to get. So if you don't choose to breastfeed, at least give your baby the colostrum. Okay, another question I've been asked is, how often do you breastfeed? Does it take up a lot of time? Yes, it does take up a lot of time. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I don't work. I go to school full-time though, so I'm able to always have myself available for the baby, so he eats when he wants to. However, it would be different if I had a job and I was on a schedule. I'd have to pump at work and he would have to eat out of the bottle when I'm away, which is the way it is now. I have to pump when I leave and he'll have to drink a bottle when I'm gone. So right now he eats maybe once every 2 to 3 hours during the daytime. He normally sleeps throughout the whole night. He goes to sleep around 9 or 10 o'clock at night, usually 9, because I was giving bath around 8, and he goes to sleep from bath time. So he usually goes to sleep around 9, and then he wakes up about 6 a.m. He'll eat and go back to sleep after he eats at 6, and then he'll wake up at 9 a.m. and be up for the rest of the day. He'll take a nap around noon, which is what he's doing now. He's taking his noontime nap, and then he'll be up for the rest of the day. That's the way the baby goes. So I get a full night's rest every night, and he eats during the day, which I have no problem with because I'm awake, he's awake, we're both awake. Might as well eat, right? So chunk him up a little bit. Always have yourself available for your baby. Just watch out for the hunger cues, because there's a lot of hunger cues when, they're smacking their mouth, when they're putting stuff in their mouth. Like, there's a ton of hunger cues. You'll look those up, or I could do a video on them. Just put in the comments if you want me to make a video about hunger cues, because there's a lot of hunger cues that you have to pay attention for that, and that's the reason why they say not to pacify a breastfed baby, because when you give them a pacifier, it confuses them, 1, with their latch, and 2, with their hunger cues. 2, you can't realize their hunger cues because you have a muter in their mouth, and then 1, they're getting used to that pacifier nipple when it's nothing like mommy's nipple. Get what I'm saying? So it'll confuse them on how to latch, and in return that can come where they're biting on the pacifier, they'll bite on your nipple. So that's why they don't prefer pacifiers. I know I've never given him a pacifier a day since he's been born. I know when he had surgery, the nurses gave him a pacifier when he was in recovery. However, as soon as he got back to me, that thing came out and went straight to the garbage can because he doesn't need it. I don't choose to meet my baby and shut him up with a pacifier. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to talk about is what kind of pump I use. I use the Medela Freestyle pump. So I want to show you all my pump and everything about it. So this is the actual pump, and I love this pump. So it's really lightweight. It's portable, like I can throw it. It's very light. The battery lasts a long time. I know I charge it maybe once a week. Here's the battery. It's a funny shaped battery, but I charge this thing maybe once a week, and I use it maybe 2 to 3 times a day. So it tells you all how often that I use my pump, and it doesn't die. Okay, so for you all who don't know how to put the Medela Freestyle pump together, I can show you all now. I just went ahead and took it all apart. So this is the tubing. Also, a disclaimer, you do not want to share any of your pump accessories with anyone else. 1, it's nasty, and 2, you're sharing, germs. So in case anyone's hasn't told you, don't share your pumping stuff. So if you're going to pump with both sides, you want to have both of these open, but considering this is for the example, I'm going to close it. That's what this other hole is for, so that you can put that in there when you're not using the second one. So you want to hook it up to the pump in this little hole right here. It's just kind of like a headphone jack. Literally just slides right in and slides out. Then you want to put that down for a second. You want to take this piece right here. Just want to make sure you all can see it. I'm not sure what these accessories are called, but I know how to use them. Then you want to take this little, whatever you want to call it, and you want to put it inside of here. It smells good. I just washed it. Then you want to hook this onto the back. And pow, there that is. Easy, right? and then just hook the bottle. Ting. And then you take this and hook it up to the back. Pow. Now you're ready to pump. Oh, that's right. You need one more thing to pump with, right? So you need your flange. This is where people go wrong with pumping. Their flange size really, really, really matters. Pumping should not hurt either. So if you have the wrong size flange and you're forcing your nipple into this flange, or it's way too big and your nipple and your areola is inside of this flange, then that's what's going to cause pumping to hurt. So you want to make sure that you get the right size. I am a 27, but I have small breasts, so who knows. So what you do is you'll size your flange based on your nipple. And I also put a diagram into this video so that you all can see what a proper sizing into the flange is versus what an improper is into the flange. Also, that came with this kit is the pumping bra. What you'll do is you'll put your pump inside of this hole and pow, push the button. But you can do it for both sides. It's a hands-free pumping. So you put it in this one, and then you take this and hook up the other one and put that one on, and then you hit the button. Oh goodness, I'm throwing the pump. And then you hit the button and it starts pumping. If you all need me to post any links about where I got my pump from, or how to find this pump, I believe they have it at regular retailers like Walmart. Well, I don't think Walmart has the Medela. I know they have their products, but I don't think they have the pumps. I know for sure Target has them, but I got mine online. It's very expensive. It's $400. However, a good investment means, you know, it'll last a long time. So, and Medela is really, 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 really sweet. Like I had this pump when I first started, and somehow it broke, and I called them and they just sent me a whole new set, bottle, flanges, tubing, everything. They sent me a whole nother box. So they're really sweet. Now that we've talked about pumping, now I want to talk about storing your milk, because once you pump, you're going to have to store it. So these are the storage bags that I use after I pump. It's the Lancino. I use a lot of Lancino products, just so you all know. And this is what the bag looks like out of the box. So what you do is you put the date, the value, meaning what I do is I put how many ounces of milk is in there, what time, and then your baby's name, which it's only my baby, so I don't put anything right there. But it'll give you a little guide of approximately how many ounces is in this bag. But the guide is completely wrong. Every time I measure out my milk and then put it in there, it's always over on this guide. So, okay, so there's guidelines of how long you can have certain milks in different places. So if you freshly pump milk and you want to leave it out at room temperature that's not really, really hot, you can have it out for 4 to 8 hours. If you put it inside of the refrigerator and it's freshly pumped, it can be in there for 3 to 8 days. I personally never leave my milk inside the refrigerator for more than 24 hours because I just don't. Because he always drinks it all, so I always freeze my milk after I pump. So that takes me on to freezing. So when you freeze your milk, you can, in the regular freezer, you can leave it in there for up to 6 months. If you put it in the deep freezer, you can leave it in there for 1 whole year. Basically, if you're not having a lot of traffic in and out, changing the temperature of the environment, then you should be fine for a year. When you unthaw your milk, you want to unthaw it either low and slow, put it in the refrigerator, take the bag of milk, put it in the refrigerator, and let it thaw out on its own for 24 hours or less than 24 hours, because frozen milk, when you take frozen milk out of the freezer and put it into the refrigerator, it has to be thrown away within 24 hours. So another way of unthawing your milk is taking it and running it under lukewarm water, low and slow. That's what I was saying by that. You want to Not have hot water to where it kills your milk, but not too cold to where it just stays frozen. You never want to microwave your milk, which it also says on this baggie. Reminder, do not heat in microwave. So it does tell you all not to microwave it. You never want to microwave your breast milk, no matter if it's in a bottle or if it's in anything. Also, you don't really want to use bottle warmers because they don't have a consistent temperature. So a hint for using the milk: when you store milk inside of the refrigerator, it will separate. It's just like any other milk. It will sour and go bad. However, you may look at the breast milk and think that it's bad because it separates naturally, because the water sinks to the bottom and the fat floats to the top. So your milk will separate in the refrigerator. It doesn't mean it's bad. What you'll have to do is you have to take the bottle and swirl it to mix it back up. Don't shake, because then you're killing the milk. Don't shake, you swirl. So you take it and swirl it, swirl it, swirl it, and mixes it back up. And that's pretty much all that I have to say about storing milk and doing all that good stuff. Also, the last thing that I have to say is do not refreeze your milk, which I hope everyone knows refreezing stuff isn't good. So that also pertains to breast milk. Don't unthaw and then refreeze your milk. You don't want to do that. Make your baby sick. Now I'm going to talk about complications of breastfeeding that I've dealt with personally. There's a lot of complications that some people deal with that I haven't dealt with, that won't be in this video because I haven't personally dealt with them, so I can't really speak upon them. However, the things that I'm about to talk about, I have personally dealt with, so I can talk about them firsthand. Okay, someone asked me about leaking breast. It's not really a complication, that kind of comes with the territory. Every day I leak. I have to wear these breast pads. I'll show you all. Breast pads. Ooh. Let it focus in. Let's know again. It's just the nursing pads. I know they have like the daytime and the nighttime pads. This is what they look like when they come out of the box. You just pull them open. They're really convenient. You can slide them in your purse because they're so little. They're really portable. And you just open them up. Pow. Pow. Full coverage. You take off the little plastic pieces so they can stick to your bra. So that when you do breastfeed, you can just clap it down. And it's not in the way. It doesn't block your nipple or anything. So, ta-da! Breast pads. I know every single time that I breastfeed my son, I always leak, because I can be feeding him on this side and I will have a letdown on both sides, so that therefore my milk is flowing on this side, so I have to have my breast pads on to catch that milk, or I have to pump at the same time as feeding. So that's not really a complication, but some people, you know, want to know about leaking. So that's how you deal with leaking. You just catch it some type of way, because you're gonna leak. So I always leak. I don't know about everyone else, but I do. Next is engorgement, which is something that I've already talked about and I've already touched base on, and I've already gave a lot of tips about how to do it. One, you pump it out. Ding. Two, you have your baby breastfeed. You have a nurse on you. Three, you can take a hot shower. Let that hot water run on you. Let the hot water run on you, massage, and try to work the milk out. And then also, what I use is the 3-in-1 therapy by Lance Snow again. And what you do is you can either freeze these, put them in the refrigerator, throw them in the microwave. These are all temperature around. If you want some cold compressions, you freeze it or put it in the refrigerator. If freezing I found to be too cold, so I'll put it in the refrigerator. Put it in the refrigerator, put it on your boob. You can also use these while pumping. Realize these can go right around your flange. Pow. There it is. Ow. It's meant to help you. So it completely goes around your pump. And of course, 2 of these come in a pack. You could also get something cheaper. I've heard of putting rice in a sock and warming it up in the microwave. And that gives you the same amount of heat instead of going out and paying $18 for these. which is a bit costly. Next thing that I've dealt with that you get rid of the same exact way is clogged ducts. Oh my goodness. So no one ever warned me about clogged ducts, which is why I'm able to put this into the video. Because pretty much clogged duct is when you have some milk that solidifies inside of your tubing. Well, you have ducts. I don't know if you all know what this is. It's pretty much the tubes that your milk flows through to get to your nipple and to come out. Your milk can solidify in one of those and back up. Your milk backs up inside that duct. That is super painful. It takes a lot of massaging and working to get it to flowing again, to get that milk pushed on through that duct. So I've had clogged ducts 3 times in the same boob in the same place. It's always right here. So I'm not sure if it's from my baby, because they say not to put your baby in the same feeding position, which I do. I should listen. Not to put your baby in the same feeding position because they pull milk from different places in different positions. So if you put them in different positions, they're going to clear you out in different ways and keep your milk going. So that's how you deal with clogged ducts, the same exact way you deal with engorgement. You massage, hot showers, hot compression, pumping, and breastfeeding. Or you can look up different ways, but those are the ways that I used. Next, we're going to talk about cracked and bleeding / sore nipples. So there's a lot of reasons why your nipples may be cracked, bleeding, or sore. Most of the time, it's because of improper latching, which sucks because it hurts really, really bad. So like I told you all at the beginning of the video, my baby was gumming on me. I didn't know it was wrong. I knew it hurted. So that caused my nipples to be sore, cracked, and they bled. So these were the things that I used that helped a ton to get rid of the pain and to heal my nipples back to normal. Of course, I already told you all that I used my nipple shield, where I used all of these things. The nipple shield was pretty much, after I had these working, the nipple shield protected my nipple while it was healing from using these products. So what I used was lanolin cream, which these are both the same thing but by different people. This is by Badila and this one by Lancino. That's how I dealt with bleeding, sore, cracked nipples. Lanolin cream, the hydrogels, and nipple shields. Some people wonder and worry about their milk drying up, which is a problem for a lot of women. I haven't had that problem, but I've been super paranoid about it, and that's why I pump as much as I do. Pumping and breastfeeding will continue to bring your milk. As long as you are not going a long time without breastfeeding and you're eating right, drinking plenty of water, taking your vitamins, then you should keep your milk supply up. There's a lot of things out there that you can do to increase your milk supply, like fenugreek tea, flax seeds, brewer's yeast. There's so much stuff out there, you all. You just have to research, because I found a lot. Like, you can make lactation cookies and lactation smoothies. Like, what the heck? There's no reason for your milk to dry up. As long as you are doing everything correct, then your milk should not dry up. So hopefully that helps you all at least a little bit. Breastfeeding in public. A lot of people have different perspectives on breastfeeding in public. I feel like my baby hungry, my baby's gonna eat. I don't care where we at. I'm covered and no one can see anything. Only thing that people know is, oh my gosh, she's breastfeeding under that cover. Some people are uncomfortable with seeing someone breastfeed in public. I'm over it. I've accepted it, and I breastfeed wherever I go. So it all depends on how you feel and if you're comfortable breastfeeding your baby in public. I've heard my friend. I've had a friend who has went to a restaurant and was breastfeeding, and they asked her not to, which is crazy, but that's just the way it is in today's society. Sometimes it just doesn't work. The baby's waking up. I'll be right back. And he's back. He had a good little nap. It was literally a little nap. He heard me talking the whole time, so he woke on up. Okay, so after breastfeeding in public, yeah, I don't know if I will continue to breastfeed in public because my baby's getting older and he loves to pull on the blanket that I cover him with. While I'm breastfeeding, I could be breastfeeding him like this, and he'll take this hand and he'll pull on the cover and be, ah. And now he has a habit of when he gets distracted while he's breastfeeding, he'll just pop right off. He'll be on the nipple and then he'll see something, he'll be like this, and then here I am just sitting there. So I don't know if I will continue to breastfeed in public as much, but as of now, I'm still going at it. So it really all depends on whether or not you're comfortable with breastfeeding in public. Last but not least, I know this video was so long, but I try to make it short, but there's just so much to talk about when you talk about breastfeeding. So lastly, we want to talk about periods, conceiving while breastfeeding. There's been a lot of hoopla about conceiving while breastfeeding and having your period while breastfeeding. Yes, you can get pregnant while you breastfeed. You are not fertile, but you are not infertile. Hold on. I said that wrong. You are less fertile, but you are not infertile. You still drop your first egg usually before your period. So you would not know that your egg dropped unless you know your body like that. I wouldn't know. But you will drop your first egg before your first period, which means you're fertile at one point before your period. So you will have your period when you breastfeed. It usually takes about 6 months if you're exclusively breastfeeding. The problems come in when you introduce formula, when you pump and put in, hold on, how do I say it? When you pump and you're not breastfeeding, when you're exclusively pumping and not breastfeeding. And then also when you introduce food. Basically, whenever your baby's not on you for as long as he or she was when he was first born, or when he's not on you most of his feedings during the day, then you will get your period back sooner than a person like me who is exclusively breastfeeding. So I believe that is pretty much all that I had to talk about breastfeeding. It was a mouthful. And this is my second time recording this video because the first time my camera was off focus. So this was draining. So hopefully that helped everyone. And if you all have any questions, please don't be scared to ask. No question is a dumb question. Truly, when it was my first time breastfeeding, I had a ton of questions and I Googled everything. Google was my best friend. And Miss Reed at the Reed Bunch, I would text in questions. I was calling my lactation consultant. I had a ton of questions. So whenever you have a question, please ask. If I don't know the answer, I will call my lactation consultant and get the answer. It's so simple. So if you all have any more questions, concerns, or anything to say, please just let me know. If you all have any more suggestions of type of videos that you all would like, please let me know. Don't forget to comment, rate, and subscribe. And thanks for watching. We'll see you all in the next video. Say bye. He's still trying to sleep, y'all. He's just not messing with it. Bye.